Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fortnite Save the World video. Today we're going to be going over patch 3.5. Not going to cover everything in the patch, just some highlights. For a full description of the patch, I will leave a hyperlink down in the video description so you can go out there and check them all out. So let's get started. So they introduced a new story or quest story into the game called Into the Storm, where we go and check out Lars's past. Kind of a neat little story, discovering his past. And you do get one of the new weapons and one of the new heroes in that, which we'll cover a little bit later in the video. But so you do get a selection there of one of the new weapons, which are all of the weapons are energy based. They also introduced a new map called Route 99, where they brought Survive the Storm back into the game, and there was 3 different levels: level 15, level 40, level 70, where you do 3-day and 7-day, basically Survive the Storm missions, where you get event tickets for the new Survive the Storm llamas. They also introduced some new items into the event store. 2 worth mentioning, of course, are 2 of the new weapons. The LMG and the sniper rifle are only available in the event store, so make sure you pick them up during the event. And they also introduced Sergeant Jonesy, a legendary Sergeant Jonesy. He is phenomenal. He's got some great abilities from a soldier perspective and to give to some of your other characters. So make sure you pick those 2 weapons up and Sergeant Jonesy. They also, like I said, they also introduced 4 new heroes. They introduced Heavy Base Kyle, Harvester Sarah, Bulletstorm Jonesy, and Ted Shot Jess. We'll get into a little bit of a discussion on those 4 later on in the video. So stay tuned for that. With the weapons they introduced, like I said, they introduced a whole bunch of new weapons. We already went over that the LMG and the sniper rifle are only available in the event store, but they also brought in a hand cannon, an axe, a sword, an assault rifle, a shotgun, and a scythe or a scythe, depending on how you pronounce it yourself. So with that being said, those are kind of the big highlights of what patch 3.5 brought into the game. But there are some other things that they brought into the game which I think are worth mentioning, so we're going to go ahead and jump into that. And in the background, I will be playing with one of the new heroes, Harvester Sarah. So let's get into it. So one of the things that one of the things that they did is that they enabled environmental damage for ranged weapons. So now you can actually do damage to the environment with your guns. So, is it a big deal? Not really, but hey, if you notice you're doing damage now with your ranged weapons, well, there you go. It's because it was introduced in 3.5. They also reworked Outlander fragments. I don't necessarily play an Outlander all that often. I do go out and if I'm looking for resources and stuff, I do jump on my Outlander, but not a whole lot. Anyways, but they reworked the Outlander fragments where basically fragment abilities, you basically don't have to get a fragment anymore except for the loot llama. You do have to, of course, pick that one up, but you don't have to pick up the fragment anymore to use like Teddy and stuff like that. You still can, but you don't have to. The fragment abilities now have a cooldown and an energy cost as other abilities do, and I don't know. Based off of some conversations that I've had and some reading that I've done, people who actually play Outlanders all the time say that it's still not great. Play it, and let me know what you think, whether you think it's good or bad. Most of them say that they're not happy with it, but leave a comment down below the video. Let me know your thoughts on it, on whether you think it's good or bad. Another thing that another point that I think is worth mentioning in this patch is that they increased the crafting queue size from 10 to 20. Not a big change, but it's a big enough change that I thought it was worth mentioning, because it is a little bit of, it's a quality of life thing. It's a little bit of a time saver. So, you know, craft 20 items. While you're crafting them, you can do some other things in your menus. So I like it. You be the judge. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Another thing that they did is they changed the falling damage, so you can actually fall from greater heights now before you actually take damage. Now I think you can fall from 3 stories up before you take damage. So big deal? Not really, but once again, just something that I feel is worth mentioning. Now, the biggest thing in 3.5 that I think is worth mentioning, that is just incredible, is they increased the default building resource capacity from 999 to 2,000. That is unbelievable. So now you can carry around a whole bunch of extra resources that you couldn't do before. Now, with that being said, 2,000 is not the maximum that you can carry. You can carry around up to 5,000 resources, because they changed it in the skill trees where you get an additional 1,000 per skill tree. So now you can have up to 5,000 items, building resources that you can carry around with. Unbelievable. I mean, I know I haven't been playing the game very long, but I think it's a great change. I'm really happy about it, because I got so tired of when I would build. I'd build something, then I'd have to go out and farm more resources, just so I could continue building or upgrading, you know, the walls and stuff that I had built. So that I thought was pretty awesome. Another thing worth mentioning on that note is they added or extended the challenge quest up to 20 stages, like the Leave No One Behind and various other ones. I only mention that because it's kind of a big deal, because, you know, you get V-Bucks from it, but also you get some XP, Survivor XP, and various things like that. So with the rework that they did, they backtracked and they actually gave us more XP from those missions that we had already accomplished. So I ended up with like an extra 100,000 Survivor XP. So I was really happy about that they actually introduced new levels for the challenge quest, and that they gave us more XP because of the way that they changed. You know, the more they actually were awarding more XP for that. So the last little bit, we're going to talk a little bit about the heroes. The 4 new heroes that they introduced into the game were Cyberpunk heroes. The first one was Heavy Base Kyle. He is a constructor focused on taking down enemies with base to charge up a great energy nova. I have him. I think he's awesome. Harvester Sarah, she is a close-ranged ninja scythe who uses smoke bombs and shadow stance to survive on the battlefield. Don't play ninjas a lot. I'm going to try to start playing a little bit more, but I've been having some fun with her. Bulletstorm Jonesy uses high magazine weapons to build up attack speed and mow down enemies. And lastly, you had Headshot Jess, who deploys Teddy to provide cover fire while sniping foes from a distance. You know, those are the new 4 heroes. Lots of stuff in this patch. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, learned something about it. If you haven't already, you know, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you liked or didn't like about the patch. And if you haven't, please subscribe. If you liked the video, you thought it was beneficial, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, I'll talk to you all later.